My wife just shot me through the door. The 911 call would go on. There's some screaming heard by the male. Not everything is entirely audible. The call was approximately 1:54, a minute 54 in length. Officer McLeod was the first to arrive. He arrived in under 3 minutes, arriving at 4:17 p.m. Officer McLeod would explain that he had found Mr. Hustowski with 2 bullets in his left arm, and we obviously called a rescue squad to the scene. Shortly thereafter, it was relayed to us that by Mr. Hustowski that his wife Kaylee had been the one that shot him. We attempted to reach her by phone. We got no response. Getting no response, and rather than forcing a confrontation, we then called out the Lake County SWAT team. We called out the Lake County SWAT team because they have robots and drones, and in fact that is exactly how they entered the home. Rather than forcing a confrontation, we sent the robots and drones in. We continued to see no movement and got no calls. Ultimately, at 7:42 p.m., Kaylee was located in the upstairs of the home with a single gunshot wound. The coroner, Dr. Komar, was called out. Also, the Lake County Crime Lab, the entire Lake County Crime Lab was out, along with our entire detective bureau, and of course the SWAT team, as mentioned. Dr. Komar said that based on his preliminary observations, it was consistent with a suicide. That Kaylee's injuries were consistent with a suicide. They did examine the scene, both the coroner and the Lake County Crime Lab. Kaylee is currently being examined by the Cuyahoga County medical examiners. We expect that the final report will be here within 1 to 3 months. I know that they lived in the city. Kaylee and Dylan lived in the city for approximately 2 years at 152 Cedar Brook Drive. They were married for approximately 2.5 years. We had only one prior call to the residence, completely unrelated to any domestic issue, disturbance, anything of that nature. It was a call about a criminal damage complaint that some juveniles had done to one of the vehicles. That is the only call we have had in Painesville City for them. They were not otherwise in our system. We know they had a 3-year-old child. The child was not at the residence. The child was with a sister, Kaylee's sister, in Stowe, Ohio. We also know that there was a dog in the house. Dog was not harmed. The dog was given to Kaylee's mother after the officers arrived. Ultimately, this is still under investigation. We will look at the detective's investigation, the coroner's final report, the crime lab's final report, and then make a determination on what to do with this investigation and how it will move forward. Dylan, we know, was a police officer with the Gates Mills Police Department. And regarding that, I will go ahead and turn over the mic to Chief Greg Minicello. And again, I will take questions if I can after that. Both of us will.
Thank you, Chief. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm not going to speak to the incident itself, but I will give you some background information on Officer Hustowski. I can confirm that Dylan Hustowski is a member of the Gates Mills Police Department. Dylan is 27 years old. He's been a member with our agency for 4.5 years. Dylan is currently in surgery with 2 gunshot wounds to his left arm. Our condolences and sympathies go out to Dylan and his entire family, and we are and will continue to support the Hustowski family in any way that we can. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Could you? You might have said this, I'm sorry. How long was Dylan for?
4.5 years.
Is he assigned to patrol, Chief?
He's assigned to the patrol division. He's an outstanding employee. We've had no issues with him whatsoever over the years, and quite frankly, I wish I had 10 of them.
Did you spell their names for us?
Sure. Dylan is D-Y-L-A-N, and their last name is H-U-S-S-T-O-S-K-Y.
It's a sad day, isn't it?
It is. It's a very sad day. Yes, it is. Tragic day.
Chief, have you had a chance to talk? I know you said he's in surgery now. Have you had a chance to talk to him last night?
I checked on, yes, I did, and I was down at the hospital today, and in fact, as we were getting ready to leave, then they took him off to surgery. He's in good spirits. He's shocked, obviously. He's concerned about, his son, of course, his entire family, but all in all, he's doing well.
Had he indicated prior to him leaving there were any issues at home or he was worried?
No, he did not.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Was Dylan's service weapon used in the shooting?
No, it was not.
It was not. The spelling on the other is Kayleigh, and same last name. To follow up on that.
How old was Kaylee? Chief?
She was 29 years old, and Dylan is 27.
Do we know if there was, the reason for this happening, do we have any information about that, what occurred?
We don't have solid information on that. That's something that is gonna take us time, unfortunately. And again, we didn't have prior calls at this residence or in that neighborhood of yelling, disturbances of any kind. So to our knowledge, there was nothing like that.
Any substance abuse issues, any mental health issues?
Nothing like that has come to light at this point in the investigation.
Who was the gun registered to that was used?
I don't think we have that information yet, or if we do, that information hasn't been relayed to us by the crime lab.
The single gunshot wound, was it to Kaylee's head? Do you-
We won't comment on where the gunshot wound was, in fairness to the victim and the family.
Chief, how unusual, for this to happen, that seems like a very quiet, peaceful neighborhood.
Can you go to the microphone and
Sure.
address that question?
It is. It is very much so, a quiet neighborhood. This happened right across from Heritage Elementary School. Was the very first phone call I made yesterday was to the superintendent of city schools to tell them to lock the school down, being literally across the street from them. Very, very unusual for this to happen. Particularly, I think we rarely investigate cases where we have no prior calls, no knowledge whatsoever. None of our officers, none of our investigators were even aware that he was a police officer or that he lived there. We just had absolutely no knowledge. So very surprising. In fact, we didn't even learn about this until later at the hospital. We had no idea when we were speaking to him that he was an officer.
Was he able to get out of the house by himself, or did you have to get him out, or how did that happen?
He was. Yeah, he was able to get out of the house.
So when you guys were there, was he outside already? or-
He was outside already, yes.
Was their son living with the aunt on a long-term basis, or was it just a visit?
It's our understanding that it was a short term, that it was just a visit.
What kind of weapon was used? Was it a handgun?
We're not gonna go any further into that, but it was not the service weapon. That's